All right. There we are. We're live. Happy Wednesday night, everybody. I gotta do a couple things here, which is now that we're live on the Facebook, I gotta find us out here. Now we're officially live on the Facebook, so I can see it. I'm gonna share it to myself. I'm gonna say, Teddy, do you ever have this happen where when you try to type live, love is always
yes, it automatically says love. Yes,
automatically says love, and I was about to say love with Teddy Slack. Like,
nice. Yeah. It's getting off on a bad start there, bro.
Yeah. I mean, it's just there's a lot of hate in the world. Maybe we need some love.
That's right. That's right.
All right, here we go. Exclamation points. Okay, now it is on my page. And now it was official, but now it's even more official. So now if you want to go find us out on my page, you can see us out there. We're there. We're there. It is public. Let me verify. It sure is. Now it's official. Now we're officially making a podcast, folks. What's happening, everybody? Happy Wednesday night. Welcome to Home Service Happy Hour. I'm Dan Plata from Best Damn Bookkeeping. We got Teddy Slack from Modern Contractor TV and a whole bunch more stuff. Like Teddy's got more like t-shirts, notches in his belt, whatever you want to call it. Teddy's been around. He's gotten around. He's got some things. How you doing tonight, Teddy?
I'm good, man. How you doing, Dan?
I got to cook. So I'm an avid bow hunter. Like I'm slinging arrows. I'm like Legolas.
Nice.
And I have 4 freezers in my basement, and I process all my own venison. And we got to have what I like to call enchilados. We don't have enchiladas in the Plata household. We have enchilados. And I had to clear out one of our freezers. We have our biggest freezer. I'm wheels up tomorrow going to Kentucky for a whitetail hunt with a bunch of other business owners, archery hunting. And I like to bring a freezer along. I got an F-150 with the plug-in thing in the back.
Nice. Yeah.
While you're driving. And it's just nice especially when you're shooting deer when it's like 80 degrees out. You got to get those babies cooled down quick. So I bring just a chest freezer with. But to be able to bring a chest freezer with, you got to like empty one. So last night, my wife and I were like doing venison inventory, and I was like, "Damn, we got a lot of inventory left from last year that we got to like mow down on so that we can open up some room for the 2025 crop of deer." And one of the bags I found was tenderloins, like inner loins, which for those of you that have never butchered an animal, they're on the inside of the body cavity. Like if you ever order a tenderloin of beef, it's actually on the inside of the rib cage. It's not on the outside of the body cavity. It's like a real prime cut. Like,
yeah, that's a nice piece. That's what I like to eat. That's right. Yeah.
And my wife and I were rifle hunting together last year in Wisconsin, and we shot a doe and another buck. And those tenderloins were in the same bag. And so the enchilados tonight were the inner loins from those deer.
Nice.
Holy moly. Full. It's one of those meals where you're full and then you get more. And then
you can't stop eating it. Yeah, of course.
A little more full. You push yourself to discomfort at some point. But that's how good I'm doing. I'm that good.
So you're real good. Yeah.
I'm real good. And I got to hang. My wife had a happy hour with one of her friends, so I got to hang out with 3 kids tonight, and we were just doing our jam.
Nice.
Not that mom detracts from our jam, but there's just those times where you like get your kids all to yourself a little bit. And I'm leaving for like a week and a few days. I'm leaving for a week and a couple days tomorrow, not to confuse the situation. So it's extra special to like get some one-on-one time with the kiddos.
No, that's always good, man. That's awesome. I was telling you before we got on, I have 7 kids, so I know exactly what you're talking about. You got to get that one-on-one time for sure.
I think we might have talked about this a little on your podcast. When you guys decided like, hey, let's have some kids, did you have a number in mind? Or were you just like, we're going until we don't like to have sex anymore? Like, what was the catalyst to get you towards 7?
Yeah, so we're blended. So we're like the Brady Bunch. We're the modern day Brady Bunch, I used to say. She had 3 boys, I had 3 girls, and then we just had one of our own. We had a girl, so tiebreaker. So there's 7 total.
Bonus kid.
Yeah.
And before we went live, you said you got like a 4-month-old, so you're doing the 4-month-old stuff.
Yeah,
you also have a 16-year-old, so you got a driver. At what point does a 16-year-old provide enough utility that it starts offsetting the burden's not the right word, but the obligations that come with younger kids?
Yeah, so I mean, they definitely help. I have two older girls. So I have one that's a sophomore in high school, one's a freshman, and they're a lot of help for sure. But they're not driving. I mean, in Jersey, you got to be like 18 now to drive, so they won't be able to drive for another 2 years. They're
Do you
super
really need to
strict.
be 18? Is that real? Or is
Yeah, no, you get like a permit at 17 or 16 and a half or 17, but the rules they have all kinds of rules around it. Can't have like kids in the car. You have to be with another adult, and then you get your actual license when you're 18. It wasn't always like that. When I got my license, at you 17, you could drive. Now it's different in Jersey.
Yeah, in Wisconsin, where I'm from, you can drive when you're 12, if as long as your dad said that you could ride that track.
That's awesome.
Apparently, you're supposed to be 16 to drive a vehicle, but like I'm from a part of Wisconsin where once you're, once they give you a beer, they also hand you the keys. Like, don't do anything stupid, which is usually somewhere once you hit double digits.
Yeah,
it's about the same time that happens.
That's a cool way to grow up for sure.
It's a little different in north central Wisconsin there. I have so check this out. I mentioned this before we started going live. This is maybe the coolest thing I've seen. And I've been doing, I was in the corporate world for just under a decade, and then I've been doing this for about a decade, doing the small business thing. I think this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. I have in my hands, I have a custom beer. Brewed for a specific person, and that person's not me. So it's not even like it would be super cool if somebody made me a beer, but this isn't even for me. Just the person that this was for left me a 4-pack of these, and I know the guy really well because he's my brother-in-law, and I thought this was the coolest fucking thing. By the way, we can swear on the show because it's a bar.
Let's go. Yeah,
this is the coolest damn thing I've ever seen. This is the Tony's High Five Ale. Tony, that's what Tony looks like.
That's your brother-in-law?
That's my brother-in-law.
Nice.
He's about 10 years younger than I am. And I'm gonna drink. I have 3 of these left, and I'm gonna consume all of them tonight during the show. But I'm gonna read you some of the things that are on this can because I think it's so impactful, and I think this is what sets really good business owners apart. And I'd love your feedback on it. Well, I was about to put it in my koozie. I got my best damn book.
There you go.
But I gotta read the can first. So Tony got this as a work anniversary, as a thank you gift, and I know Tony really well because I've like introduced him to hunting and fishing stuff, and like he and I kind of bond over that. And he is the nicest. Nice isn't the right word because anybody can say somebody's nice. He's thoughtful. Like he's just a genuine dude. He's like he works hard. He plays hard. He's always thinking of other people, just like salt of the earth, good human. So it's Tony's High Five Ale right there. The nutrition facts. Let me read you some nutrition facts here, Teddy.
Nice.
Serving size, 1 legendary employee. Percent daily value. Reliability, 100%. Respect for team, 100%. Logistics mastery, 100%. Willingness to go extra mile, 100%. Ego, 0%, excuses 0%. And then it says percent daily values are based on a 5-year work anniversary. Your team's needs may vary.
Nice.
I got some good humor woven in here. And then at the bottom of that says, Tony, your leadership has been integral to Lagersmith's culture, growth, and success. Thank you sincerely, Nate and Lucy. Like
that's a cool gift. Yeah, that's really cool.
But it's not done yet because then it says government warning number 1. Because they like on any alcohol, they got to have their warnings there. Government warning number 1. Tony may show up unannounced to ensure this beer is shipped because he works. I should have prefaced this. Tony works at a cannery. They can beer.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
They distribute beer cans. Tony may show up unannounced to ensure this beer shipped on time. 2, always consume with gratitude for 5 years of rock solid reliability. And 3, if you experience exceptional teamwork after consumption, it may be the Joyer effect, which is Tony's last name. I just thought that was so cool. I was like, man, I wish I thought. It's one of those things where you're like, I wish I thought of that because that's just the coolest freaking thing to do for somebody. So
now they do that because they can beer. They're allowed to do that, but I'm sure they don't sell that product, right? Can somebody go online and like order that for somebody?
Nope. It's specific to Tony. It's probably really cool. I'm sure they know a beer that Tony likes, and they can so many beers for so many people. And they make the labels, so they can make their own labels. So they made some labels for Tony and did like a small batch.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah,
had to give it to people.
That's awesome.
So here's you, Tony. You the man. And now, if I'm like, some of my employees might listen to this, and so when I send them beers, they're gonna be like, "I know where Dan heard about that." But like, as we have a beer can in our logo. I'm wearing one of our hats right now. You can see, like, we have a beer mug, and it's up there too. So like, it's part of our fun culture to make bookkeeping not suck. But I feel like this would be a really fun gift for our employees to recognize them.
It's totally fitting, bro. It's totally fitting, dude. You got to get some.
I just got it. But as I was thinking of this, it was a little intimidating. Like, after reading this can, I'm like, damn, that's like, not that it's a lot of work. It's a lot of thought, right? Like, it's very intentional.
Yeah. Somebody put a lot of thought into that for sure.
Somebody which Tony deserves it. He's the man. Super good dude. But it's such a thoughtful gift. I was like blown away. I mean, it's like, makes me choke up just thinking about it. Like, as a business owner, I'm like, damn, good job to those owners. Like, they're taking care of their people.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of difference, man. I just had this conversation with somebody else about taking care of your employees. It's super important, and to go that extra mile. I mean, that's really cool, Hey, what's happening?
Special guest number 1.
Time for bed, huh? Bedtime routine.
What kind of toothpaste are we working with tonight?
Bubblegum.
Nice.
She got her first black eye tonight. Today.
What happened? You got a little brawl today? What happened?
You should see the other guy.
Yeah.
Right. No, she fell off a swing.
That's the worst.
Yeah. I told her, Mom came home and she's like, I got a black eye. I mean, she's tough as nails. Okay, go spin your toothpaste out, you weirdo. Mom came home and she's like, I got a black eye. I fell off the swing set. I was like, Danny, you're supposed to tell her, like, you got in a fight or you fell off your motorcycle.
Yeah, you gotta come up with a better story.
Yeah, like, come on. You got like, Mom, you gotta like scare her a little bit. It's Mom. Yeah. But took it easy on Mom tonight. She didn't rile her up too bad. So
that's good.
Just got the little glazer there. My door's gonna keep opening because now that she came in, the other two are,
of course, yeah.
Coming in.
We got the 3-year-old in his diaper.
Nice. What's happening, buddy?
Can you say hi? Not to me. Say hi to Teddy. Wow. Okay. Yeah, you're doing great. See you guys. Night and night. Oh, he had to shut the door. A 3-year-old. Like,
of course. Yeah.
They're in that phase where they have to do everything themselves.
Yes. Oh, yeah. They find their independence at that age.
For sure. Yeah, they can't help. They're just like, everything's emotional and everything is, no, me do. I got to do that.
Yep, 100%.
I got to shut this door. I got to put my own pants on.
Yeah.
Even if they're backwards. It's just what I'm doing these days.
Yeah. It goes fast, though, man. It really does. I mean, I can't believe my oldest is 16. It's kind of crazy.
What is your second youngest? Like, how big is the gap between your 4-month-old and your next youngest?
So the next youngest is 9. So it goes 9.
Oh, yeah, you got quite the spread.
Yeah, it's a spread for sure. I mean, we definitely were out of the woods. Let's just put it that way. We were definitely out of the woods, and it was this set us back a few years for sure. I mean, back in the diapers and the whole 9, but it's worth it. I mean, she's ours, and and she's like the glue for the family, Like I said, she brought the boys and the girls together. They're even closer now than they were before,
Heck yeah. It's a gift.
Yeah, they got a little sister to share,
Heck yeah. When we had Crosby, our youngest, that just came in there, like we have Danny, who was the older one that came in, and then Reggie is 2 years younger than her, who knows what she's distracted with. We might see her yet. But we had those two, and we're like, man, like 2's great. Maybe we want a 3rd. Maybe we don't. And then we kind of got in this logic of, man, if we don't have another one, we're just going to wonder, like, what if we have one? And if we do, it's just going to be awesome. And so then we got pregnant, and then we had a miscarriage, and so our gap got a little, like, it was supposed to be supposed to be a 3-year gap, and now it's a 4-year gap. But I just can't imagine it any other way.
Yeah,
we're done now. I'm sewed up. I'm fixed up. We'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm done by intent, but maybe physics, other ideas in the world has other ideas for me. We'll see. Rob Anderson and my buddy Brent just jumped in on the Instagram on one screen. I can't see their comments, but I see you boys. Thanks for checking in. Rob, who my occasional co-host, said, "Hey, Mr. Danny." Rob says, "Hi." Oh, here he is. Look at this. He did jump. He did jump on in.
What's
here.
happening, Rob?
What's up, man? That's all the kids that got to say hey to him,
Yeah,
Mr. Rob.
They're in and out. You know these plot of kids. They're in and out.
Oh yeah,
anything can happen.
Star of the show.
Yeah.
What are you up to tonight, Rob? You look like you're sitting on a porch.
I am sitting on a porch, not centered on the window. My wife is watching some teenage drama love triangle thing with my son. Who's
that's
16.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't want to be. But fun fact: when my wife was watching some show like Étoile, sounds
like some French shit.
Yeah. It's like Paris dancers or French dancers come to America, and American dancers go to France or something, and it was a lot of language. It was a lot of dubbing over stuff, and I said, "Cool, I'll put my earbuds in," and cranked out a lot of stuff because I had zero desire to.
That's a good time to knock some quotes. Nothing to motivate you like to do some work. Then
I'm all about the earbuds.
Yeah. Block out the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go. So Teddy, you got the 6 older ones, the 1 younger one. Is there anything you learned from between you and your wife of 3 each, raising 3 older kids each, that you're like, oh shit, we better with this one. Here's the thing, we gotta make sure.
Yes, well, 100%. I mean, I would say the biggest thing is electronics for sure. 100%. When my kids were coming up, electronics were just brand new. With these iPads were coming out, nobody really knew, right? I mean, your kids are a little bit younger than mine, but when my kids were coming up, iPads were just invented. So I'm like, oh, this thing's cool. Give it to the kid. The kid loves it, and they become addicted to it. And it's you have to put a lot of restrictions around it. And then what we've seen now, the older kids have friends that, of course, they come over and stuff. And when we meet them, we're like, oh, where's your iPad? They're like, oh, we don't have an iPad. I'm like, really? They're like, yeah, my parents never gave me one. And they're completely different kids. They can have full-on conversations with you. I mean, it's unbelievable how it works. I'm like, wow. So I'm like, this new one, we're not giving them electronics. She's not going to get electronics until she's probably in high school. Very limited if we do give it to them. But, we were very nonchalant with the older ones because nobody knew any better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Go, Rob.
I was going to say, we had the same thing.
You have more experience than I have with kids.
No, what was funny is Teddy, my best man Matt, he had 2 or 3 kids at the time, and we go to hang out with them, and the TV's on, and his kids have iPads in front of them too, and they kept pestering the crap out of us over and over again. Meanwhile, our kids at that point, I don't know if we had 2 or 3 at the time either. I know we had at least 2 then. They only got to watch PBS Kids Sprout and didn't get on the computer, didn't do anything. So the TV being on for a show, whatever even it was, they were just
of course, yeah, because they're not used to it.
And meanwhile, and granted, we're the same way. It's oh yeah, let me eat food, have a phone in front of me. Oh, and maybe we're watching TV too. It's bad.
It is bad. It's crazy, but it's definitely something that I've seen firsthand. So now it's all right, I'm getting a second crack at this, and I'm going to do it differently this time. But that's pretty much the one thing I would say. And we have a lot of limitations. I mean, right now, I have the house on lockdown. I got Wi-Fi access for every child. I could literally turn a button on my phone and just turn their Wi-Fi access off. So if they don't behave, it's boom, I hit a button, their whole shit's shut down. Their TV, their internet, everything. Yeah, you got to have it because otherwise that's the only leverage you have. And I feel like in 2025, these kids don't care about anything but electronics. It's you shut that down, they'll do whatever you want. They'll clean the whole house, they'll take the garbage out, they'll jump, you say how high they're going to jump, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, sometimes the second the electronics go off, it's oh, so you are a feral animal and now you're going to attack your sibling because the electronic device, or Seth will hop off the computer and he's cool. And then he runs over and turns on Dude Perfect. Dude Perfect's over, and he immediately runs over the computer, and it's dude, no. And also, on these days with athletics and stuff, you only got 30 minutes on the computer? Good.
Yep.
Yeah. Good.
Exactly.
You exercised.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, we deal with that. We're dealing with that too. That's all they want. I mean, it's a battle for sure.
Yeah.
Teddy, how do you manage? Do you get your kids get into the sports stuff and like the after school stuff?
They do, yeah. I mean, they're all kind of into their own things. Some of them are in soccer. The girls are in volleyball, gymnastics, dance. We're get pulled in a ton of different directions. I have a 12-passenger Sprinter van. It's like I call it the bus.
Oh hell yeah,
yeah, bro. So I'm literally a bus driver, like for the most part. Like that's like my full-time gig. I pretty much just drive around all the time. So that's what I feel like, anyways. For sure.
I was gonna say, like, I get it with 3 kids or 4 kids, and you can like minivan stuff, or Rob's kids are a little spread out in ages, so you can manage it a little bit different. They're into different things, but with your 6 older ones,
we grew out of the 8-passenger Escalade. That's what I had, 8-passenger Escalade, and we maxed it out. I mean, once we had the baby, we couldn't fit her, so I'm like, we got to go get a Sprinter. So it literally goes from 8-passenger to 12. It's like the next step up. You can't get anything between.
That is wild. This is gonna sound so amateur to you, but we had to get rid of our Toyota Corolla and our Ford Edge because you couldn't get the 3 wide in the back seat. So we had to go to like an SUV with the 3rd row, and then I had to get I had an F-150 at the time, but like we upgraded that for safety reasons to a newer F-150, and then I was like, we just got to get rid of these smaller cars. Like, there's just no.
You need the space. Yeah, you need the space for the kids. They take up so much space. It's crazy.
All their shit. You're never like hauling them around with nothing.
No.
Other stuff.
Yeah, they come loaded.
I'm acting like they're the one with the stuff. Like, frankly, when we usually go somewhere, it's hunting or fishing related, and therefore 4/5 of everything is all my gear. Whatever the hobby is that we're out doing. So I act like it's them. It's me.
Yeah.
I'm the problem here. But I'm really good at packing. It's just like Tetris. It's like Tetris on the Game Boy. I can pack like a son of a gun.
So, Teddy, with your 12-passenger van, we went to Disney one year, and I rented something. I said, it's got to be able to hold at least 6 passengers or 7 passengers or whatever. Show up, and they've got an E350 or whatever it was, Sprinter van. And I'm like, okay, cool. And like, I show up, I've got 3 of the kids with me. My wife and our other daughter were coming up later. And they checked me all in. I'm like, yeah, it says it's seat 6. So I'm figuring it's just going to be like, we're just going on a road trip with this thing. No, there's literally no seats in there. There's the driver's seat, the passenger seat, and somehow I'm supposed to just toss my kids in the back of this and drive from Tampa to Orlando. And I go back and I was like, no. See, I put vehicles that hold 6 or more, and see, you have no seats in this.
Yeah, that's a problem.
So if you want to take the seats out of the back, I'll totally take this.
I'm not bringing people across the border here.
Yeah,
exactly.
My kids from point A to point B. I'm picturing Dumb and Dumber and the
oh my god, the dogmobile,
and then the dog. The kids are just back there with the ketchup and the mustard. I can see that. Seth would be out of control with that. He'd be hard.
I mean, he would start like a little CrossFit area inside of it or something.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a wild spin. I hate renting cars because you just never get what you think you're going to get. They either give you more than what you really want, and then they try to charge the shit out of you, or they give you less than what you really want, and then they try to upgrade you. There's just, you never show up and are like, oh, perfect. I don't think I'm showing up for a vehicle rental situation.
And Teddy, this true. Like that back row, that 3rd row.
Oh, it's tiny.
It's designed for people with 5-inch legs.
Yeah.
Like,
no, it's tiny.
I'd be good.
Dude, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. And our older ones are taller than me almost. They're like 6 foot, 6'1", and they're 16 years old, 15 years old. They're big boys. So they can't fit back there. We had to get rid of it. There was no way. It was just, we couldn't once we had the baby, it's just like there was no room. And forget it, because then you have a friend, or you have the grandmother's here, or whoever, you know what I mean? Then you just need the room. So now you have the 12-passenger. It's like we could bring friends, you could bring anybody,
What's gonna be really weird is when your kids start empty nesting you, and then you're like downsizing, and you're like, "Where's the noise?
Well,
what's up with all this quiet?"
Yeah, it's gonna be quiet.
But Teddy, I'll tell you that from our friends that had like six or 7 kids, they when they finally were able to go back from the Sprinter van to an Expedition XL Max Super Duper whatever car, the kids that the 2 that had graduated and moved away are like, WTF? You guys, now you have a regular car.
Yeah.
Now it's no longer a shame to ride with you anywhere. And now it's like, oh, look, you have a normal vehicle. Thanks, Mom and Dad. Like,
yeah.
They'll get it when they get older. Part of the responsibility as a parent is to embarrass the shit out of your kids.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
So, like, whatever you got to do.
Yeah.
Whatever that means.
Yeah, well, you definitely do with the 12-passenger spreader. You show up, and I think sticks out like a sore thumb. Everybody's like, "What the hell is this thing?" It's like literally it's a bus.
It's the Brady Bunch. Everybody knows. Yeah, it's part of the fun.
Yeah.
So Teddy, give us a little background on your business. Obviously, you've got your podcast today. You do some coaching and stuff like that, but like you don't just start there. You've got a shitload of experience and a shitload of businesses. Take us back as far as you want on your timeline to kind of where home services started being a thing for you. Take us along on that journey. I'm sure Rob and I will interrupt you like 72 times along that journey. So who knows how long.
What are we going to do, Dan? What? Yeah. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Keys.
so give us a little background and we'll go from there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I grew up in the trade. So my father bootstrapped his business started as a landscaper, then he went to paving, then he fell into the environmental industry basically back in the 70s, and he did a big commercial environmental work. So when I graduated college, I went to college for business, learned nothing. So I don't suggest going to college because it taught me nothing, even though I have a business degree, went to school for marketing, but I literally learned nothing. And I realized that once I got out, I started working for my father's business. I always grew up working for the family business, like, as a laborer. Like, he'd put me out in the field and I was like sweeping the streets and, excavating, running excavators and dump trucks and everything like that. So when I graduated college, he's like, "Hey, you want to start a residential division?" I never sold residential jobs. So I was like, "Well, yeah, I'll give it a shot." And that's what I did. I started a residential division and it took off like crazy. We started from nothing. We grew it pretty quickly. And I stayed there for about 5 years. And unfortunately, working for family is tough. As you guys probably know, I'm sure you've heard, it's not easy. So my father and I parted ways. I went off my own, started another residential tank business, essentially in New Jersey. So everybody knows, a lot of houses are heated with oil tanks. So they put oil tanks in the ground at like the 40s and 50s and 60s. And what happens is now they're all corroded because they're just steel. So in New Jersey, if you want to sell your home, you have to remove the oil tank and then you have to do environmental cleanup. And these cleanups, they can be expensive. They're like 10, 15, 20, up to six figures, 100 grand, 150 grand. It could be real expensive to clean up. So you have to do it. So if you want to sell your home, you got to deal with this. So it's a good little business because it's like, it wasn't a luxury. It's like, if you want to sell your home, you got to deal with this tank. Yeah. So
wait, Teddy, I'm going to interrupt. I get dibs on the
first. I got something on this too.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So I took, like, my dad ran a business my entire upbringing.
Okay.
It wasn't his, but he was like the GM of it.
Yep.
And like could have brought me into it. Never did. And there was a point in, like, when I was in like high school and college, where I even, like, in high school and college, I actually worked for my uncle, who was my mom's brother. And it was his business, and he had worked for my dad, but then left and started like a sister company. That was something that my dad didn't do, but it like supported my dad's business. And I worked for my uncle like through high school and then all my way through college.
Yeah, so working for family, yeah.
And I always kind of wondered, like, why would my dad have just had me work for him, right? Like, I'm a hardworking son of a bitch, and he knew that. But I, like, in hindsight, I'm like, I get it now. And it makes me wonder. And my interruption to tell that story is, how do you view it with your kids? Like, do you think you would run it different with your kids? Do you think you'd be able to make it work? Like, do you want your kids involved? Do you want them to go get their own experiences and then come back, or what? Like, what's your outlook on that? Because I don't have a hard opinion about it.
Yeah, my
kids aren't old enough to like think about that yet. And Rob, your kids are like getting old enough, so I'm kind of curious what you think about it too. But it's a thought that crosses my mind of like, is this a family business? Do I want it to be a family business? Does it matter if it's a family business?
Yeah, I think it depends on what your intentions are with the business itself. If you plan on keeping it for a long time and you want to keep the kids and bring them into the business, I don't think it's a bad idea. I mean, to be honest, I think my father's just very old school. So when I say old school, I mean the guy can't read or write, but he's grown in a massive business. He owns tons of real estate. He's just a street hustler. hardcore hard worker, just grew up like just grinding work boots. That's how he hustled his way to the top. So very old school thinking. So I came along with like all this kind of new school ideas. I mean, the guy didn't even have computers in his office when I came work for him. Everything was all fax machines. I mean, I'm talking old school. And I was like, let's go on Google. You know what I mean? Let's go on Google. And that's how I blew the business up. I was doing Google at the time, and we just start getting calls like crazy, and none of the competitors were doing it at the time. So they just took off like crazy. Then unfortunately, my mother was involved in the business too. It was a family business. And then she wound up passing away. She had cancer. So when she passed away, she was like the glue of the family. She was like the matriarch. She kept everybody together. She kept my father under control. And when she was gone, it was like me and him were like, it was like clashing, two type A personalities, and it just made sense. I'm like, it was just not going to work. So I went off and just kind of left. But as far as my kids, I would absolutely bring my kids and my family if I was planning on keeping it. Even if I wasn't planning on keeping it, I think to get them some experience. I mean, I'm even talking to my 15-year-old right now about possibly helping me out on some stuff with the podcast and stuff. So I'm not against it at all.
Yeah, I can see too, especially like you said, if your mom is the glue that holds it together.
Yep.
Like there's just other stresses going on too when you like lose somebody that's that important, not like that important for the business, but obviously like that important for you.
She was the main like glue, like I said, for the family. Yeah. And then a new woman came in the picture, and I had women in the picture that he didn't like, and it was like now we had these other women in the picture. It was like it was too much, like it was too much personal and business mixed together, and it was like this is not going to work. You know what I mean? So I wound up just leaving, and he didn't think I was going to leave. I mean, he made like a threat basically to me, and he told the people in the office, "Oh, he's never going anywhere. He's making all this money," which I was getting paid good money, but I got to the point where I was like, I'll fucking sweep streets before I come back and work for this guy. You know what I mean? That's kind of, and that's the mentality that I needed at the time in order to force me to go do it on my own, because I hesitated. You know what I mean? I was making good money. I was 28 years old. I'm like, this is scary. I'm leaving all this behind. This is like my father's business. It's my family business that one day could eventually be mine. And that was kind of the fight we had. It was like, I wanted a piece of the business because I grew this little division, and I'm like, I was basically running the whole thing. I'm like, I just want a piece so I could take some of the profits and reinvest into real estate. And he's like, you're a fucking employee. You always be an employee. You know your role. That's basically what he told me. I was like, oh, all right. It's like that. I'm like, I'm like, all right. It's like that. So it was like, me and him were like, it was like, I'm out. I'm done. And he didn't think I was going to actually leave. He thought I'd come crawling back. And I just didn't. I went off and started my own business.
Do you guys have a good relationship?
We do now. We talk every day now. We talk almost every single morning. I talk to him like he's like the first person I talk to in the morning, but we didn't talk for 5 years. We went through a rough time, and he was not happy that I left, and it wasn't pretty for the first 5 years, but like I said, now we're the closest we've ever been. And we've done some business together over the last couple of years, but mainly we try to keep it personal,
Yeah. I gotta imagine as a dad too, there's like a whole lot of frustration, but there's a little bit of like, fuck yeah, son.
Yeah.
Right. Like at some point, like like there's gotta be a pride thing of like, I'm glad you did your own thing, which is hard for like badass dudes to admit when they're like proud. My dad's such a stubborn asshole. Love him to death, but like real hard for him to like pivot. Right. Yep. It's just like I have the right answer. I know the right answer because I've been doing this forever, and I know here's how we didn't do it, and this is how we do it. And I'm like, yeah, but maybe not. Like maybe there's other ways to do this, right?
Yeah.
So, like running the same thing. So maybe he was wise to not bring me on, because I can't imagine we can hardly put up a damn tree stand together. Like a knockout fight over the best way to do it.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. So you got you're coming along. You part ways with your dad. Keep us rolling.
So just before we get back on that,
all right,
Teddy, we were both in the same business, except for I was the guy who just took the oil and certified abandoned it by putting kitty litter and sand in it after I pumped the oil out.
Okay.
And then I heated my house for 2 winters, and at first it started off with above ground tank. This lady's got 300 gallons of heating oil. She needs it gone. And, Dan, it's like putting the oil tank like smack dab in the middle where your pool is. Like it was just in the middle of her friggin' yard. And so like we figured out how to pump that out, went through like 3 pumps, figured that, finally got the right stuff. I got to the point where like, I think it was the last oil pump out I did. A guy had 1,000 gallon in-ground tank. he pays me because I drive across the bridge, like basically like $800 or $1,000 to pump the oil out.
Yep.
That I then drive to my buddy's place, 45 minutes away, sell it to him at like $1.50 a gallon.
Yep.
So I've gotten paid double for the same oil, and then he takes me to some like office complex that had gone out of business, and so they were pulling desks and stuff out of there. So it was like, man, this isn't a bad deal. And again, we heated our house. We had hot water oil at our old house, and like aside from the fact that we had a GM boiler that essentially was the mistress because of the amount of time I had to spend. Because again, I was putting crap oil back into it.
Yeah.
And
You got to filter that shit really good. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and a 45-year-old boiler too. Like I mean, it was a Beckett with a GM thing, and I'm like,
those older ones are usually better, man. They burn anything.
Oh yeah,
you're like just crazy. You could throw anything in there and they'll burn it.
Yeah,
you know,
as long as you kept putting some of the I forget what there was like oil heat treatment stuff that you put in there, and then I started selling the barrels, and it was kind of a nice little hustle for a while, and then started making actual money doing other things.
So I did that at a scale. I had 4 crews that were out doing tanks every day, and we were, I had a 30,000 gallon frac tank in my yard with 30,000 gallons of oil at any given time. I mean, we were doing that. We did that at scale. Like we were the biggest company in New Jersey. I mean, there still is. I sold the company at 22, and they're sold to a young kid. He's still running it today.
Nice.
Crazy that's going on.
Yeah, there's a lot of oil tanks in New Jersey. Ton of oil tanks.
And honestly, like the thing I really like, it heated better.
Yes, it's warmer.
Than
it's a warmer
gas.
100%. I have 800 gallon tank in my basement here. I actually ripped the propane out when I moved in here, and I put oil in because I get it from my guy. I'm like, bring me oil. Every winter he just delivers oil, and I just heat my house for free. So it's nice.
Is it just like? Is it a? I don't know the word I'm trying to say. Is it like a wetter heat that it like carries the heat better?
It
like
burns hotter. It burns hotter. So when it just comes out, the heat it's just hotter. Like it just feels hotter. Like it's comfortable. I feel like.
Well, we had baseboard, not radiators, and man, that stuff heated up everything so nice. The thing we had to worry about, especially with the kids, though, was like in the wintertime, that hot water was going, or that burner was going, and man, our hot water would come out at like 100 and I don't know, it would come out a good 25 to 30 degrees hotter than a hot water heater should be set at, and so you'd have to turn the hot on like
your hands, and you'd be like, whoop.
Yeah, just a tiny bit, and like you'd have cold at like full blast and just a little bit of hot water, and then the rest of the year you're like, we need this at like a 60-40 split, then we'll be good,
Yep. Yeah.
That my parents have the hottest damn water on the planet. Like every time we go there, I have to remember like not to turn.
You gotta adjust the hot water heater.
Yeah, just not to even go past. If you got one of those knobbies where it's like,
yeah.
Knobby, not the 2 knobs. The one it's like you're damn near vertical, and you're like,
yeah. And you mean the fish that goes like that?
Like if it's really fighting, yeah. But so Teddy, you kind of part ways with your dad. You go off on your own. Give us keep us going down that trajectory.
Yeah. So when I left my father, I mean, I was a 20-year-old kid. I was making good money, 6 figures, but I was pissing all my money away, as any young kid would at that age. I feel like a lot of kids, anyways. Yeah. I mean, women, and I was doing like all kinds of crazy shit. I had my own house. I mean, I had crazy amounts of cars, just stupid shit. But anyways, I had about $8,000 to my name, which is crazy because I was making a lot of money, and I had a bunch of cars. I had to sell a bunch of cars. So I essentially started the business with $8,000, and I bootstrapped that business from 0 to 1.3 million my first 12 months. And I needed a lot of equipment. I had to buy like a couple $100,000 in equipment. I had rented the first couple of jobs, and then I slowly bought the equipment over that first year. But that business did very well. The problem was it went to my head. I was a young kid, so it's like, oh, I just did this now for the second time, right? Because I did it with my father's business. I started a division, then I started my own. So I'm like, I could do this in any business. I'm like, so I started. Now I'm partnering with friends and people. Anyone who would come to me, be like, hey, you want to invest in my company? Yeah, absolutely. Let's partner up. And I start going in all these different directions. And from basically 2011 to about 2018, over a 7-year span, I got involved with a lot of different companies, and I went too many different directions. On top of it, I was at one point I started flipping homes. I had flipped 24 homes in 24 months. And yeah, while I was running 3 other companies, one of them being in the Bronx, 2 in New Jersey, 1 in Ohio. I mean, I had a location in Pennsylvania.
Was this before you had kids, or was this even after?
I had kids. No, this is when I had kids, but I wasn't around, bro. I was working. I worked in my older ones when I was young and they were young. I was not around. I left at 6 a.m, came home at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night. I mean, I worked my ass off, and which I'm not doing that now this time around, obviously, but I didn't know any better. I mean, that's what I thought. I chased top line revenue. I didn't know any better. I didn't read. I didn't educate myself about business. So like, I just hustled. Like basically that's what I was taught from my old man was hustle, work your ass off, show up early, stay late, do whatever you got to do. And that's not the answer. And I learned that from, once I basically took the final straw and that took me down essentially. And it didn't take me down, but it was something that I basically had to do a reset because so all these companies that I got involved with, I bootstrapped every one of them. I didn't get any loans. I didn't get SBA loans, none of that stuff. And they were all pretty successful. But the last one came to me and I needed to get a personal guarantee. It was a loan. I had to take a loan out. It was $1 million loan for equipment. And I never did a personal guarantee. And now if I had to do it all over again, obviously I would have never done that. I could have brought on partners or whatever, but I took a personal guarantee on an SBA loan and personal guarantee. Well, if you don't pay that bill, they come for everything, and that's kind of what happened. So I had to restructure everything and kind of reset. And that's when I restarted into the tank business again. I said, you know what, I'm starting over again from scratch. I mean, I lost everything, my home, I lost everything, cars, any toys I had, they came and took everything. And so I had to start from zero. Literally, I went from 70 employees down to me. I was the only employee in the office, literally starting from zero.
Was it economics? Was it a bad bet? Was it
here, I'll explain it. Yeah. So it was a great business. So what happened was I had this emergency response business where we would go out, and I started that in like 2012, and I was 100% owner of that business, but I brought a guy on that knew that industry really well. And he was like, I know the industry. It's a crazy story. I hired this guy. He was an $11 an hour employee. I put an ad in the paper at the time. It's 2011. He came as an entry-level labor for my tank business. And he starts telling me like, hey bro, he's like, I just got out of prison. So I'm like, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't hire this guy, And he's like, yeah, I just got out of prison. He's like, but I really know this environmental emergency response business really well. He's like, if you want to start this division, I'll run the whole thing. So I was like, listen, listen, if you bring me like some kind of plan, tell me how much I got to invest. And again, my head was not in the right space. I thought I could like anything I touched was going to turn to gold. And it did. I mean, we started it. I bootstrapped it. He ran the whole thing. It went from 0 to 3 million in literally 24 months. So now I'm running that business. He's running it basically, but I'm just backing him. I'm doing all the back end, business stuff. I'm doing marketing. I'm doing the finances, the operations, helping him with hiring and stuff. And over time, there's a reason why he went to prison. I mean, he got in trouble for, basically fraud and all kinds of shit that he was doing in a last business he was in. Yep. And, I gave him a second chance thinking like, if I give this guy a shot, he won't steal from me. He won't do anything wrong. You know what I mean? And he came in at $11 an hour within, I don't even know, maybe 12 months, he was making $250,000. I was paying him very well because we were making a lot of money. So I was like, bro, you're making us all this money. You're running the whole show here. I'll take care of you. That's just how I am, And long story short, he wind up doing all kinds of stuff that was not okay. He was faking invoices, making up numbers. Like, so he's showing me one thing, but then we were getting contracts, but it wasn't for the right numbers. So then when I was like, where the fuck is the money? He's like, it's not, they give me all these stories. So I had to hire a CFO to come in, and he went through all the books. And he's like, this guy is robbing you, and he's doing this and that and the other thing. So I had to shut the whole thing down. So when I shut that down, I start to panic because it was like 3 million in revenue coming in. Even though it wasn't profitable at the time, it's still revenue. It's money coming in the bank,
Yeah, it's still paying the interest on the loan.
It's paying bills. Yeah. So I'm like, so now I'm panicking because I literally shut the whole thing down because I didn't want to run it. I didn't know, even at the time, I wasn't in the right mindset to like go and hire someone else and try to revive it. I was like, fuck it, shut the whole thing down, fire everybody. And I had 2 locations. I had one in PA, one in Jersey. So I shut the whole operation down. So my CFO that I brought on, he's like, listen, I have a connection in Ohio with these guys that have around the fracking industry. All you got to do is move dirty water around the fracking business. You just need to bring equipment. He's like, I got the contracts. Let's go in business with these guys. So I'm like, fuck it. I'm like, why not? You know what I mean? Like,
it's the rebound girlfriend.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, yeah, this will save me. This will be it. This is the perfect thing. So like, And I had the contracts with publicly traded companies. So I'm like, oh, they're publicly traded companies. I never worked for a publicly traded company. I'm like, these are huge companies. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm like, fuck it. I'm like, I'll go get the equipment. So that's what I did. I personally guaranteed $1 million in equipment. I mean, the one truck was $400,000, and I got a couple trucks, and I signed a lease for an office. Now, mind you, I never even drove to Ohio in my life, but I'm starting a business out there. I signed a lease on an office. I bought this equipment. I backed these guys essentially that were out there. They had the connections with the contracts. So that's why I felt good about it. And day one, we were making money. I mean, we brought in $300,000 the first month. And the problem was the fucking thing took a lot of money to run. You know, $300,000 in revenue, I needed like a 150 to just keep it going. I had to feed that beast. And I ran out of money real fast. And I was like, all right, well, how do I keep this thing going? It's a good business. It's generating money. It's profitable. I turned to a factoring company because I had nowhere else to go at the time. Again, I wasn't smart. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. So I turned to a factoring company, and they were like, yeah, the credit sucks for these publicly traded companies. We're only going to give you $50,000 a month. So I had to come up with $100,000 a month, and I just couldn't come up with it. And I finally, again, had to shut it down. And that's when they came for everything.
Damn. Like, do you think if you would have been able to get the capital that it would have
100%? If I was educated like I am now, I mean, after this whole experience, that's when I start reading and really educating myself. Cause I'm like, fuck, man, this business thing's a lot harder than I thought it was. You know what I mean? Like, this ain't as easy as I thought it was. I got to start reading. And that's what I did. I started reading a lot of books. And obviously, I mean, I had no clue about even bringing in an equity partner and all this stuff. So I shouldn't even be making the decisions I was at the time. But yeah, 100%. I could have brought up equity partnering. I own the whole business 100%. I could have brought somebody in and said, hey, I'll give you 50% equity. You be the money guy. Here's the contracts, and let's just go and run. And it would have been great. And I just didn't even have the wherewithal at the time. So, stupid. I was, young and dumb and too many things going on. I still had my other companies going on. It was just too many things going on at once. And you can't do that. That's one of the things I learned is you have to focus, man. You have to focus. That's one of the things I learned, big time back in 2018.
Rob knows that I learned that lesson the hard way over the last probably since 2018. But also I got that t-shirt as well. Go Rob.
Yeah. Sorry, I was going to say something and you jumped in on it. No, I think, was it Maynard was saying, one of the next businesses he wanted to get into at one point, he was saying, he's like, I just read this article about how this, this office person or whatever stole $500,000 out of this company. He's like, I'm really interested in getting into this industry that, somebody can steal $500,000
not noticed.
It takes you a long time to realize that. Yeah. He's like, there's just stupid money in this. And we're like, I mean, that's a way to look at, hey, I mean, and yeah, I mean, we recently let a guy go that had a criminal background, was on the whole recovery thing, and he was in a program and all that stuff. And like, they paid for his extra tough boots and whatnot, and was doing good. And then stuff kind of started not making sense. Yeah. And stories not adding up, and
that's exactly how it goes down.
Denied all of it. And then found out he was doing coke. And I was like, dude, like, and I don't have a sense of smell. I generally think if Dan's acting extra goofy today, Dan is just acting extra goofy. It's not that he's been, doing our ice fish house drinking in his actual coffee every morning. It's like I have to take people's word for it, and then like it sucks because like man, I don't want to think that, but like something just doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
no.
Yeah, no, that's what it is. I mean, you want to trust people, right? I mean, because you're trustworthy yourself, and you're like, I would never do that to anybody. So they wouldn't do it to me, but it's not true. I mean, I had a bookkeeper steal from me. I had, I had this lady, she was paying her mortgage from my business bank account before I called her. I'm like, what the fuck is this? I'm like, I never seen this vendor before. I called them up. They're like, yeah, this is for a mortgage. I'm like, a mortgage for who? I'm like, I don't have no fucking house with this name, with this bank, And yeah, she was paying her mortgage. Yeah. So I've gone through a lot, man. I feel like I've gotten an MBA over the last, before 2018, I would say from 2005 to 18 was like my MBA. That's where I learned, and that's where I got, learned everything. And that's the only way you're going to learn, right? I mean, I didn't have any partners. It was myself. I was 100% owner of every company I ever did at the time. And then in 2018, so when I reset everything, I did bring a partner in. And that's when I partnered, and we took it from 0 to 4 million in 36 months. And then I sold it, to 5 times multiple in 2022.
What industry was that in?
I was in the tank business. So I got back into, I was like, listen, I'm going to focus. This is my main thing. This is what I know really well. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I'm going back to what I know. I'm like, this is so easy for me. And especially if I'm not going in all these different directions, I should do really well. And I did. I mean, I took it from 0 to 4 million in 36 months. I mean, and the books were so clean. I built it for value purposes. I really start to learn about how to increase the value, how to get the highest multiple. I got myself out of the day to day. So within a year and a half, I didn't have to show up to work. I just had to look over the KPIs and and it was just an amazing experience. I started a YouTube channel for that business. I did a podcast. I did a lot of things that, I would have never done if I was going in too many different directions, and it really showed, and I got the highest multiple for it. So I was happy.
It's, I liked it. And I work with a lot of very new business owners, a lot of guys that are like just hiring their first employee, and they're maybe hitting the 200,000 level. And then maybe they haven't even had bookkeeping before, right? Maybe they think it's the thing
they're doing it on their own.
Yeah. They're like, this is the thing my tax person wants.
Yeah.
So I've been doing it, but I kind of don't know what I'm doing. And I'm like, man, I actually had the conversation today with a gal that has a plant nursery. And she's like, kind of have some part-timers, but like, I don't think I need bookkeeping, but I need my taxes done. And I was like, I think your priorities are exactly opposite of what they should be. Your taxes are easy. The bookkeeping is the thing that helps you run your business. And I always like to tell them, whether you realize it or not, you just signed up to play a math game.
Yes.
Like, I know when you were younger, you thought math wasn't your favorite subject, but if you're owning a business, you're signing up to play a math game. And if you don't like that, don't be a business owner, because you're just in the game of making decisions, and every decision is a numerical one. And I think this isn't good or bad, but like employee engagement is a mathematical decision. And it's awesome. Actually, this is day one. I just got these hats. Rob, check these babies out.
I know. I saw that. I was like, Dan's wearing a hat.
Nice.
Yeah, because I bought them for my employees, because my employees deserve great stuff, because my employees are fucking amazing. And I want them to be happy. I have Yeti mugs. I have some Tervis cups. I have some sweet hats. And I'm sending them out tomorrow. Rob, you have the knockoff Tervis mug, though. I gave you the knockoff one. I got some new ones. I gave you I
get the guinea pig. I got koozie number 2.
No, I gave you the one that I was like, I know which ones work, but I don't want to just mail them out. And so I actually upgraded all of our clear mugs, because I didn't want to send my employees ones that might not work. So I actually tested yours before I brought it.
Well, Rob only used this one time, and he drank all the beer out of it. So clearly there's a problem with it.
That might happen too. But it's like, it's so important that you establish that. But again, it's still a math decision.
100%.
It's a huge investment. It's a great investment. Well, it's an important investment.
And like the hard part, I'll just say, like, super simple math, right? We have our mortgage payment. We have a loan for a pole building that we built, and we have a second mortgage payment. And we were, before this last, pole building payment, that's like an extra $1,000. We were just transferring $1,000 a month or $1,000 a week out and over to this other account. And like, we needed to pull some money. We had extra money in there. And I said to my office manager, I was like, hey, she's like, well, we need to pull some money out. I was like, okay, well, figure out what we can pull out of there and like what's going to work. And we pulled out a couple grand too much, and then also had needed to change it, because now it's like those 3 payments are $5,300. So $1,000 a week does not equal $5,300.
That ain't gonna quite.
So like, no. So we needed to change it to $1,500, and like, totally honest, that change from $1,000 to $1,500 was done 1 week late. So we were at negative 150 in that bank account instead of positive 350. And I was like, all right, well, let's transfer that 500. Now we're good for ever. With this math, now we're good. And it was like, I understand, like, I made a nerded out spreadsheet. Here's every Friday, another 1,500, another 1,500. Here's every, here's the 4th of the month. Here's when this comes out. And like, Teddy, I don't know if you think the same way, but like, I know that Dan thinks in spreadsheets.
Yeah, I'm 100%. I'm a big numbers guy, man. Huge numbers guy.
So like showing that and like then trying to get your staff to understand like, hey, this really is. I mean, it's straight up numbers, and we got to have some of those math questions or math conversations tomorrow about people's pay, because we basically had everybody last week was below our performance pay, and so essentially everybody got paid hourly. And like, guys, yeah, we spent like 20 hours last week fixing callbacks.
Yeah, that's
not bringing in revenue. Yeah. Fixing stuff where plants are damaged and all this stuff. And so it's like, yeah, the paychecks are not what you want. They're definitely not what I want to give you.
Yeah, we're all losing money.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we're all losing money.
Right.
Yeah.
It's good that you have a structure that way. So, that's like, because you can get stuck in paying them every fucking week, regardless of their performance. That's a problem. Yep. I have clients like that. I'm like, now you have to restructure this pay. This pay structure is not going to work. You know what I mean? Like even sales reps. I mean, I had one client who was paying a sales rep like $100,000 salary. I'm like, the fuck, like $100,000 salary, and I mean they weren't pulling in that much, and they're basically an order taker. They weren't out there generating their own leads. I'm like,
they're a demo specialist.
I'm like, bro, you could do this yourself. I'm telling you, the guy, he owns the business. I'm like, you could save yourself $100,000. I mean, this is not difficult. And she, she wasn't even doing all the sales. I mean, there was other people in the business, so just overpaid. So sometimes you have to restructure those comps.
Man,
yep.
There's nothing more important than getting compensation structure right. I don't want to use the word incentivize, because I think incentivize implies that you're hiring somebody that won't do the thing unless you put a carrot in front of them. You got to hire the right people that are going to do the right thing.
Yep.
The performance pay structure rewards them.
Yes. Yeah.
Like you make sure you're paying your best people. You don't hire shitty people and hope that your pay structure somehow makes them earn it.
Yeah.
You hire the right damn people that are going to work hard no matter what, and then you reward the shit out of them.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in that. Even like profit sharing, I'm a big believer in open books. Like I like to open, like for the the high level people that are that you could do that with and share profits. You know what I mean? Like when I ran my last business, we ran it so clean that it was like we would just open the books and say, listen, here's our profit. This is what we're willing to share. Everyone got a bonus. I would meet with them on a quarterly basis. I gave everyone in the office a bonus. It was like Christmas every quarter. But we were printing money. I mean, I was at a 43% EBITDA essentially in that business, which is like unheard of in home services, bro. I was like it was crazy. That's crazy. So I was giving it away. I'm like, well, I'm not. I'd rather give it to you than give it to the government. Like, fuck it, I'll give it to my employees. You know what I mean? Before I pay the government.
Well, and that's the great part, is to be on that everybody's winning side. Like that's what I said to my my service manager and my office manager. I was like, help me understand, like, how do we get it so the guys are going to come in and we got to talk through this. And I want them to be making $2 to $4 more an hour net by doing a good job. And this past week, we had to add money to their paychecks to get them up to their hourly rate compared to performance. And it's like, I don't know how to sugarcoat that other than saying, like, more people may need to change and we got to get the right people in. And it's like, and I know that, like, obviously, you're going to be salty about your paycheck. You're going to be salty about that, which is going to impact your effort, which is going to impact the performance. And then it's like, how do I then pull you? Okay, we're going downhill. How can I, like, can we pump the brakes and figure it out, or can you just hurry up and jump off the cliff? Like.
Yeah. No, it's tough. I mean, you got to figure out. So are you power washing? Is that what you're?
Power washing Christmas lights. I'm down in Maryland too.
Oh, you're down. Oh, you're East Coast too. Okay.
Yeah. My wife's from Jersey, Moorestown, Cherry Hill area.
Oh yeah. No, not Florida, South Jersey. Yeah, it's not far from us. We're in Hunterdon County, but that's probably about 35 minutes from us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Isn't everything 35 minutes from everything else in Jersey?
Yeah,
like,
Jersey's
pretty
tiny.
much.
It's
you might stretch it to an hour and a half if you're like end to end.
Yes. Well, it depends what trapic's doing, I assume, because sometimes I assume like that's a walking speed versus driving speed. Hard to know.
Yeah, pretty much.
Teddy, what so as you guys rebounded, you sold that business. Get us to present day Teddy. What are you up to now? How'd you transition off of selling that business, and what are you working on?
So yeah, I took some time off, spent some time with family. Spent a lot of time with my kids. I went through a divorce around that same time, so that was tough. But
let me interrupt you, because this is like a thing I observe and I'm curious about.
Yeah.
I've been married since 2013, so I think we're like 12 years.
There you go, good, bro. That's good. Yeah.
But I'm curious. From your initial like business endeavors, and like you said, just like push. How much ownership do you take in like the divorce?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Was it like was it a thing that was you look back at it and you're like, son of a bitch? I mean, I think there's always those things where it's like I would never do that again, but I don't regret it. Like I have what I have now, and it's awesome, and so it's just part of my journey. But give us a little like history of your relationships. Is it like your personal relationships, if you will, as it relates to your business, and like how that impacted your like the business journey, right? Because you and I talked about before.
We need it from a Jerry Springer perspective, though.
Let's get
Steve Wilkos is going to come in a moment.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean, like Teddy, you can't separate the two, right? Like it all just kind of happens together, right? So I'm curious of
the crazy part. Yeah, for me, I mean, unfortunately, my ex-wife, she got sick in 2018. So right around the time everything was kind of crumbling around and they were coming for everything. And she went through some mental health issues at that time. And then for about 3 years, we stayed together. We tried to deal with mental health as much as we could, but it just got to the point where unfortunately I had to just leave and I had to leave with my kids. So I actually left with children, and I went from being that guy who was never around. I was working from 6 a.m. till 7 o'clock at night. And I just so happened I got to the point where I was starting to read and educate myself about how to run business and how to build the value. And one of those things, the main thing, is getting yourself out of day to day. So it was like, I think it was divine intervention, to be honest, because I learned about how to getting myself out of the day to day. And then all this kind of happened in my personal life where I had to now become the father that, bro, I didn't know where the bus stop was. So when I left, I'm like calling the school, hey, where do I drop my kid off? You know what I mean? Like, what do I get from here? Like I was like that. So like I had to learn all that. And I was living in hotels for a little while to try to just get away and deal with that whole situation. It was crazy. It was a crazy time in my life, but so I went through that, and then, I met somebody, and we're, like I said, we're a blended family now and things are great, but unfortunately my ex-wife is still not in the picture, and she's not around, but it was tough. I mean, I wasn't around a lot during that marriage. So, I mean, listen, you can never say, you can't blame it. It's one person, right? I definitely take some of that blame for that relationship,
I say this a lot about my last business partnership, and Rob's like been a big part of my journey and watched my journey, which is learned a lot. And I have like no hard feelings about my last business partners. And as we know, business partnerships are a marriage.
Yeah.
In time, situations changed. But at the end of the day, like I don't have any regrets about it. I just won't do it again.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you learn. Yeah, of course. That's how you learn.
Yeah. And it's interesting to look back on, and I don't know if I would change anything.
Yeah.
I learned so many lessons, right? And I still have a lot of respect for who my old business partners were.
I think I'll say, Dan, I think the thing that you learn though, and I think again, Teddy, I don't know you that well on it. It's the speed at which you come to that conclusion.
Yeah.
Dan, you had that feeling, and now knowing, where you are now, it's basically 2 years, right? Since all that, or a year and a half, something like that.
Exactly 2 years. My non-compete ended 2 days ago. So
nice.
Congratulations. We should have a beer or something.
Yeah, you got a toast to that.
Yeah.
been doing that.
But I think that's something. I mean, obviously, Teddy, I'm sure you held on to the reins of a business for way too long early on, and then realized, okay, yep, this thing is crashing and burning.
Yep.
I'm done. We're not going to stick around for 3 years to try and see if we can keep this thing alive.
Yep.
It's done.
It's a tough choice. It's a tough choice to come to that realization as a business owner and realize that, oh shit, you got to pivot and you got to shut certain things down. I mean, it was tough, man. It was that wish that on my worst enemy. I mean, going through what I went through, but again, I don't take it back because it's what taught me, and it's what woke me up to like, hey, now I got to start educating myself. Let me learn how to actually run a business. That's why I start opening up books and start reading a lot of books about finance and operations and sales and marketing. And I was like, oh shit, there's a whole nother world out here. You know what I mean? Like, this is crazy. You know, and these guys are, you know, scaling these companies to you know, tens of millions of dollars in valuation. And it's like, so I started learning about it, and that's where I became obsessed about it. And that's how I was able to do what I did in my last business. So then after I sold, I became, you know, it was such a life-changing moment for me when you get out of the day-to-day and you have this business that's just churning profit, and then you come into a bunch of money. It's like, oh shit, like I want to help other people kind of experience that, you know. And that's why I started Modern Contractor, because I'm like, okay, I could help guys with a lot of different things when it comes to business. But from all the things I went through, I learned so many things of what not to do, you know, and then I learned what to do once I scaled my last business and sold it. So I felt like I could bring a lot of value to the market, and that's why I started Modern Contractor.
What do you have any partners in Modern Contract?
No, it's just me. Yeah, it's just me. So the whole partnership thing. So I went through that. My last business, I did have partners. The last one I sold, which I never did. So that was tough for me to deal with partners because as you know, I mean, you went through it, so you know, right? I mean, every decision, it's like you can't make any decisions unless you get to agreement with your partners, and you know, just everything was a fight, and it was like, a fight, but like, you know, you had to go through somebody, and they had to, you know, kick it around and argue and give their point of view, and you know how it goes. So it's like I didn't like having a partner, so I don't think I would ever do a partnership again.
Here was my epiphany, and when I entered my partnership, I had never been a solo entrepreneur before that. So like it was a sliding scale for me. I was in the corporate world, wanted to do some entrepreneurial shit. I'm a nerdy finance dude, so I'm risk averse by nature. So it was a nice like toe dip, right? Like, yeah, this is a less risky way for me to get into small business ownership, is to like do it with these guys. And I like thank them till the end of time to give me the opportunity to get the experience, right? Like there's only so many ways to go get that experience without jumping ass over tea kettle to go get that experience. And in hindsight, again, like I don't regret that part of it. But it was a journey for me to like learn what I'm worth for like is the operator versus what the investor should get. And I didn't have a good backbone of how that should play out. I do now after voting for myself to like get abused in that situation as the operator and like massively underpaid to favor the investors. Like it's kind of got to go the other way. And I see that now. And so my rule, this is just like Plata's rule of investing, is if I'm going to be an investor in a business, I refuse to be like majority investor. If I'm just an investor, the operator has to have the majority. They have to. And if I'm going to be an operator, I will never be the minority owner. Like if I'm going to run the thing and I'm going to put all, and I'm a one losing sleep. Like if I do have an investor, it's going to be rare, but it's going to be small. And it's sure. And this was a thing. And Rob, you know, Michael Gregory really, really well. My buddy, Michael, who he and I own a recruiting company together as investors, not as operators. And this was like, thank God for him, and is just like, he's a marketing dude, but he's like the one marketing dude that doesn't sell you anything. He just talks so straight at you that you're like, oh, damn. Like, it's like it crawled in my skin. It's like uncomfortable that you're talking to me. Like, he's so straightforward. And he's like, because he and I were looking at combining my old business with his business. He's like, hey, if we're going to have investors, they have to do three things for us. They have to provide us capital that we need, which they could have provided capital, but like the businesses didn't need capital. Like bookkeeping doesn't need capital. It bootstraps itself. So it doesn't need money from investors. He's like, they have to bring wisdom that we don't have, and they would have to bring relationships that we don't have. And I looked at the investors I had, and I was like, one of them could bring relationships to this thing, but he's distracted by like 20 other investments. So that ship is kind of sailed. And the other two have nothing to do with it. And the other two are the majority owners. And I was like, oh, fuck. You make a lot of really good points, Michael. And they all suggest that I should not have investors in this business. And that was like the main catalyst. It was like the kick in the nuts for me, like, oh, damn. Like, this is what I'm doing is really dumb. And that, you know, like I justified it. And my wife was nice enough to not she still hasn't ever said, "I told you so." She did tell me so multiple times along the way, but she was always kind enough to never remind me that she told me so. But it was just one of those things where it was like, oh, damn, I'm like the abused person in an abusive relationship. I've been like defending my abusers and I've been voting for them. And it was really funny in hindsight. Like after I came to that realization, I was like, oh, shit. But you can't, like, you need that. You need those people in your life. Again, you need those experiences and it makes you better. Again, I don't regret it. I'm super thankful for it. It makes me a hell of a lot better at what I do today. I just would never do it again.
Yeah. And I'll give myself probably more credit than I deserve on this. But like when Dan and I sat down and we talked through all this, and I think part of that, and Teddy, you know, you and your dad having that poor relationship for a while, and now I'm sure there is some advice and stuff that exchanges there. Sometimes you just need that outside person. Like I knew enough of the variables in Dan's situation, and I could see the reality of it. Like I have no skin.
Yep.
Like I left his previous company as a bookkeeping client. And like sent them
He sent me a 7-minute video about why we sucked. It was great. It was the best. And
like that's how I quit companies or vendors. Because I'll give them like here's all of what went down. Like when we rented an RV recently, it was an absolute disaster, completely controllable. But with Dan's situation, it was like, okay, so let's go through scenario 1. You know. Let's go through scenario 2. Let's go through scenario 3 and like what they wanted and like all the stuff. And like, it's like, yes, Dan, you are the value. I didn't know what you were making out of it, but at the end of the day, realizing like you are the brand, you are the salesman. The company has tried to bring in salespeople and other people. And even Dan struggled to put a salesperson in place in that previous company. And it was like,
it was impossible.
I don't know how well this guy's doing. And like, we're like, Dan, he's not going to hit your numbers. And you already know where this is going. So let me go ahead and give you a pass and say, make that change. Do it now.
Yep. You need that. I mean, it's so tough. I mean, that was the hardest thing for me when I left my family business was I felt like I was all alone. I mean, that's a big, most entrepreneurs, right? I mean, you know, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to start Modern Contractor is like, you know, I just let me be the sounding board, whatever. I mean, you know what I mean? Because I didn't have that and I wish I had that. And I literally I built a school community just about a month or so ago. And I put in 6 hours of content there. It's all free for anybody who wants to go in there. Like, you know, if you're just getting started in business, I mean, there's a ton of great content there just because I want to give it away. Like I don't want to sell a course. I want to be a guy that sold the course. I just want to kind of be someone that could be, you know, out there to help other entrepreneurs. And that's why I did that. And, you know, I enjoy that. I mean, that's something I definitely enjoy, but moving forward, I'm looking really hard at a couple industries to get back into the home service space. And that's kind of what I'm looking to do in the next couple of months here. So we'll see where it goes, but that's kind of what the future holds. We'll see.
What's your vision for Modern Contractor? Is it a platform to keep growing? Is it a coaching and resource thing? Is it a thing you want to scale, or is it just a fun?
It's fun. Yeah, it's like a fun, like I want to say it's like a more of a fun, like almost like a media. Like this kind of vision I have is like almost like a media arm. So even if I do get back to a home service space, number one, day one, I'll have a full-time videographer that'll follow me around. I'm going to document the entire process. I'm going to put a ton of content out in reference to that business and also in reference to building a business or, you know, growing and scaling a business just because I like making the content. I like putting that stuff out there. I think it's a huge value for other entrepreneurs. And yeah, Modern Contractor will be like the media arm. You know, I start the podcast. It's been great. It's really cool to meet guys like you. We just go out there and network. You meet other people. And I think it's an amazing networking. I mean, it's so much better than I've attended so many networking meetings and groups throughout my years. This hands down beats that by 100. And everybody wants to go on your podcast, right? I mean, you probably see this like, yeah, I'll come on. Cool. Let's go shoot the shit. Like, it's like a great way to network and meet people. Would you agree?
Oh, and like networking events are just always so uncomfortable, but
yes,
when they're not, and it has something to do with like the intent.
Yeah.
Right. Like I think there's a natural conversation that happens. Like I said, when we do this show, the idea is like, what would Teddy and I talk about if we sat down in a bar?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
This exact conversation.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple more tears shed.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple more hugs or whatever. Maybe a couple more interruptions from I mean, like Rob's the man, so I can't even. That's not an interruption. Rob's the man. Where's he going now?
He's in the car
right now. But like, but you'd have more like funnies and more comments and more whatever's. But I think this is where the value happens, is these types of conversations and like sharing this with the world is where it's at. Networking events are just a bummer.
No, I did it for years. I grew my business a little bit that way, but this is the podcast. It's something fairly new for me. I have about 12 episodes, but I'm liking it a lot. It's a lot of fun. It's not hard to do. And like I said, I'm meeting a lot of cool people like you. I mean, it's cool just to meet people and meet other vendors. I mean, meeting a ton of different vendors that, it's just cool to just talk to everybody. And, so that's kind of my vision for Modern Contractor. So we'll see where things go in the next couple of months here, but that's kind of what I'm thinking. I mean, I have this vision of like maybe growing it to a point where you could basically sell almost like a media company, like for home service companies, for like guys that really don't know social media. They don't understand social media. They don't understand content game, like, and package that all up, and offer that to home service contractors maybe one day. So I don't know. We'll see.
Man, I feel like that plus AI for like people like your dad, which I'm probably like a lot like your dad. Like I'm not technology capable. The reason we had a third kid was because we needed another IT person in the household.
Exactly.
Like it is funny. I noticed this. This is a trajectory that I watch with other people getting old, and now I see it myself, and I'm like, oh, bitch, I'm doing the same thing. Which is like they get more set in their ways. They get more opinionated. They don't change with what the world is doing, and they think that they're still right forever and ever and ever and ever. But like, the world passed them up. And I'm like, man, I'm in this phase. I'm right here. I'm riding this wave right now. Cause I'm like, oh, this technology stuff. Do I really want to learn it? Like I used to be like Jack to learn all of it. Like, I like the way that I like the music that I like, the technology that I like. Right. It's like all of it kind of fits together. I do think our generation is a little bit different in that we're a little bit more nimble in our adaptability, but we've also
we grew up with the technology too, though. Like, our parents didn't, it's so foreign to them.
And change was a little bit more rapid when we were growing up. So we're like a little bit more comfortable with some rapid change. Our kids are going to be like, if stuff stops changing for a second, our kids are going to be
lost.
They're going to blow. They're going to be like, I don't know what to do. Stuff's not changing anymore. Stuff keeps staying the same for like 5 days. What do we do? How do we interact? When stuff stays the same. I don't know what to talk about. I don't know how to have a conversation anymore. It'd be weird.
Yeah, that's how it is when the internet goes down in my house. Everyone looks at each other like, what do we do? I'm like, well, I don't know. Go for a walk,
Throwback. This weekend, I played 2 games of Monopoly.
Nice.
Okay. I will raise that and say we played Taboo like 2 weeks ago with our kids. And like my son had to essentially like finagle the wires in the taboo. Like they're like, we can just say you're wrong. I was like, no. You do not understand. The whole point of this game is to buzz the shit out of your siblings. And then we didn't realize it. We have like the 1992 version, and apparently there was like a 98 or 2000 version. And like the questions and stuff on this, and like things that we had to like, we're letting the kids skip because we're like, yeah, you literally don't. You have no idea what that word is. No idea. Like one of the words was like negligee, and it's like,
my gosh,
nobody even uses that word. And it was funny because it was like, one of the things was like office, and you couldn't say like desk, this and that. I was like Dwight Schrute, and they're like, what do you mean? Or like raccoon. I was like Rocket from Guardians of the Galaxy, and it's like, man, I've got lots of quick ways for you guys to remember these things, but
game changes.
Yeah,
it does.
Dwight Schrute for The Office. So Teddy, without giving too much away, you had said you got your eyes on a couple. I'm gonna tell you where I'm guessing.
Okay, let's see what you get. Let's see what you got.
Because I get to watch hundreds of businesses that, and I've run pressure washing, window cleaning, lighting. I coached landscape and permanent and holiday lighting folks.
And maid service.
Maid service.
Okay.
And I get to watch kind of all the industries, right?
Yep.
Like I'm in their finances. I'm everybody's CFO. And so I look at that, and frankly, I look at AI and I look at bookkeeping, and I'm like, motherfucker, they're coming for me, man.
Yeah. It's they have some AI software out now. It's kind of crazy the shit that they do now.
Yeah, they do. Which like I think there's still a role for a human in there, and for a
100%
finance person, and for a guide in that space. But I've also thought, like, I could probably have AI listen to me when we record videos for our clients, and I could teach AI how to do financial analysis the way I like to do it for home services, which I also saw you have a tool that you use.
I built a tool with AI, for that, business. I built something very similar to that it'll evaluate your P&L and your balance sheet and how much, what you're doing inside the business, how much you're paying yourself, and it gives you a grade, which is pretty cool. I use it for my clients.
That's badass. Like, we do that manually for our clients, but I'm like, a lot of that we could do with technology, right? And so I get to watch all these other industries like doing their thing. And I always think if I'm gonna get back into a home service space, there's a few areas where I'm like, these are the places I'd play.
You see the opportunity. Yep.
One is in like HVAC and AC. I don't see that going anywhere. I see like robots and AI becoming a greater part of it, but we're gonna need to heat and cool some shit, and that's gonna go on for a long time. Garage doors. We're going to want the security for our households, and it's going to have to go up and down or side to side or some mechanism, right? And then electrical and plumbing, like the classic trades. We just, though, like water needs to be moved and electricity needs to be moved. And I understand physics a little bit, and I think I have the capacity to learn all that type of shit. There's a closing question coming up, so I'm not going to have you give yours yet because it's to do with where your closing question goes. But I look at those and I'm like, man, if I'm going to get into something, if the things I'm into now go away, knowing what I know about running a business and what profit margins are and how to lead people and like grow teams, those are the places I'm going to play. Again, I'm not going to like put you on the spot, but give me a little feedback.
Yeah, no, 100%. So, I mean, that's one of the things that I'm doing right now is I'm really just analyzing different business models and what it takes to run a business. So my last business, an environmental business in New Jersey specifically, was very difficult to run. And I didn't know any better because I grew up in it. So that's what I knew. That's what I was taught. It was my first business. But we needed permits, we needed inspections. And in New Jersey, there's 500 towns. Each town has their own permitting process. There are different applications, different inspection times. And on top of that, all your employees, they need to have specialized licenses, not only OSHA certifications, they also need a DEP license in order to pull an oil tank. And then on top of that, you needed, if the tank leaked, you needed another guy who had a higher license that came out and did the samples. Those samples had to get sent to a vendor. They had to get analyzed. And then those samples, after they were run, you'd have to put a report together for each client that was like 300 pages long. And then that had to get approved by the DEP. So it was very cumbersome. And on top of that, you needed millions of dollars in heavy equipment. I needed all kinds of mechanical like issues. And you needed guys that could operate the heavy equipment. You needed dump truck drivers. And, to scale that is very difficult, right? There's a lot of moving parts. And what I'm studying after, doing some consulting with a lot of these different companies is like, holy shit, these business models are way simpler. Like, this is crazy. Like, all they have to do is marketing, sales, and fulfillment. There's no inspections, no permits. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. I want to get into a home service business that has a lot less of the, I guess you call it friction, because I know I was able to scale that. My average ticket, it was $3,000, and I scaled it to $1.6 million in profit in 36 months. It was $1.6 million per year I was generating out of that business in profit, which is very good at a $3,000 average ticket. So and with all those complexities. So I know with my expertise of doing that, if I get into a business model that has a lot less complexities and a bigger average ticket, where, HVAC, electrical, plumbing, roofing, the 15 grand, 20 grand average ticket. Now I should be able to scale that pretty big, is kind of what I'm thinking.
So just my 2 cents on that. I feel like the hardest part for me to train somebody on is troubleshooting, which is where I think that's going to be that aspect of any industry is going to be what sticks around the longest. Then we were saying as far as plumbing and electrical, like if you can't, they're going to design a robot that does new electrical outfits for Tesla Gigafactory and require somebody to program it, and they're done.
Yep.
It's a design, it's math, it's layouts, it's routes, and all that. A guy in our networking group was talking. He's like, I don't know what I'm going to be doing in 20 years. He's a roofer. He's like, there's going to be robots that will install shingle roofs in the next, 10 to 20 years.
They have them now. You see them, but like they're not good yet. But they're coming for sure.
It's mapping. It's doing that. But I think that's where like the whole troubleshooting aspect and that knowledge, like you were saying, Dan, like to actually see, like you have to train that AI to see those patterns and understand what's going on, and like realizing that like, hey, Rob's P&L sucks because he's actually, even though his marketing's green, it's actually everything else is not good because he's not spending as much money on marketing as he should.
Yep.
And like that's where those handyman, those repairmen, the guys figuring out where in the world, when the business or the building that we have used to be a service station at one point, and they had to take out like 15 or 25 dump truckloads of soil because the gas tanks leaked.
Yep.
And all of that, and just that's not sure, you can program a robot to figure that out.
Yeah, no, that's not going anywhere anytime soon for sure.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you got to think of all that, but I also think I'm thinking in 3 to 5 year terms. I'm not thinking, hey, I want to own this business for the next 25 years or even 15 or even 10. I'm thinking in 3 to 5 year terms, because the way that the PE market is right now, I mean, you could scale these home service companies you could do it over the next 36 months. You get it to $2, $3, $4 million in EBITDA. They're paying, anywhere between 7 to 10 times multiple for that business. I mean, that's a nice exit, you take that money, you reinvest it, you're living a pretty decent life after that. I mean, go do whatever you want after that, really. I mean, that's kind of the way I'm looking at it. So,
to that point, well, let me open this up. I got a closing question, and now's a good time to ask it. But Rob, you got any further questions for Teddy? Teddy, you got any further comments or knowledge bombs or anything you want to drop before I throw a closer at you?
No, man, I think I think you're onto something. If you want to meet up, I think we should talk a little bit about this Discord thing that I built out, because I think it would be a tool that you might want to use for your clients. It's really cool, and I only have a handful of clients. We're very niche, consulting. I'm doing very, I'm not trying to scale a consulting business. So, but I do use the tool, and I use it for my own companies, and I use it for my clients. And you should meet up. I show you kind of what it is and how it works. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, man, I'd love to jam about that. There's a thing I've noticed in our business, which is, like we use QuickBooks exclusively, and it's not going to surprise me when QuickBooks gets displaced. Yep. They're just like a little too big and not nimble enough to adapt to the world doing. If they can figure it out, great. That'll save us all a lot of heartache, because so many people in small business are on it. But I'm not going to be surprised when somebody displaces them. They're just ripe for getting run over by better technology. They're struggling with implementing AI stuff. And so we like look at them as a tool, right? And we'll adapt to the newest tool. But I think bookkeeping is only as good as the analysis about what it means.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most important part of business, right? Like I said it earlier, it's just a math game.
Yeah.
Your CPA shouldn't be your bookkeeper. Your CPA doesn't. A handful of them do. I know a couple good ones that actually understand business, but most of them don't know business. They try to organize your P&L so that it matches how they have to enter shit into tax software, which is not useful in how you run your business. Your bookkeeping is your finance arm. It's how you run your business. It's the decisions you make. That's super important. The tax shit's just some shit you do at the end of the year. Yeah. Maybe a couple times during the year to like make sure you buy the right shit and are writing it off and whatever else. There's some strategy to it, but not a ton. I shouldn't even say it's strategy. It's not strategy. It's tactics. Like we know what the law is.
Yep.
You can interpret the law. You implement the law. Strategy to me is making decisions with unknown, which is running a business. Like, should I do this marketing or that marketing?
Yes.
Like, we mathematically, we can calculate the impacts of different tax rules and make judgment calls based on that. That's a tactic. Strategy is like, here's some unknown shit. go make some decisions with the numbers that you have.
Yes.
And I think that's where bookkeeping and finance comes in. That's a fun part of running a business.
Yep.
Fun part.
100%.
We get to play that game. So yeah, Teddy, I'm all about it. I'd love to see what you're up to in that space. We don't need to chop that up here because I want like want to save that for me. I don't want to.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It'd be cool.
Tell the rest of the world what you got going on. But no, that's super cool, and I think that's a cool nut to crack is like how you help business owners with that piece of it. Understand how their numbers mean, not just helping them do their taxes with it. So
yeah.
So my question would be from the content creation and curation.
Yep.
And that's been the struggle. I've got a YouTube channel. We went through that. We've had 2 different VAs. I'm actually in the process of trying to sign up with Angela and looking at people and stuff for that. And like that's been the biggest struggle is like I made so much content. I posted so much. We grew it all. I got burned out. I never stopped making the content. It just doesn't get posted. And half the time, like what I deal with is like it getting organized, cataloged. Like I'm at like 4.6 terabytes of just GoPro, like 3.5 terabytes in Google Photos and Google Drive.
Wow.
Insta360.
I think you still need to send me the video of me busting open my eardrum on the water from my
Oh yeah.
flip. I don't know that I've ever seen it. I don't think I've ever seen it.
I mean, like I do the most difficult part of content creation, which is setting the camera up and pressing record. And then it's from there, it's like again, it is so much. I try to do coaching and I do some training and stuff. But it's such a struggle to get out of that day to day because of, and like that's what I personally, we're $1 million business. We've done it over the last 3 years each year, but we're not making a profit because I'm still stuck in that sales seat, in that owner seat, in that content creation. And then when I try to delegate it off, we end up with, as we're interviewing for this person, I was like, the words glow up about Christmas lights or house or anything is not in Rob Anderson's vocabulary. I never want to see that in a post. I never it is me drinking a bottle of Dawn dish soap. Like it doesn't throw that shit away. Like put that on the do not say AI thing. And like it kept coming up and I'm like, okay, guys, I don't know how else to make this clear. Like this voice, it's and granted that's part of the problem. It's like it's my voice for the marketing. That's what generated over $1 million in Facebook marketing sales. Like it's still got to match that. Like that's my biggest struggle with that. And obviously then getting the right people in there.
We still got to find the right brand here. This is our brand. We can't go wild.
Would you say the struggle is creating the actual content or getting the content out there? Where would you say the struggle is like the most?
I look at so much of it in like when you've got whatever, all the gurus and whatever making courses, making content, and I look at them and say like some of them are smart and a lot of them are just doofuses, but they've managed to actually post that stuff. Like I know that I've missed out on $100,000 easily in possible earnings from YouTube courses, memberships, all that kind of stuff with the knowledge that I have, because I want to help, where you are, Teddy, to be able to help those guys to not do the dumb stuff that we did in the past. Yeah. Like, hey, you'd be better off. Hey, instead of burning $50,000, pay me $1,000 and don't burn that 50.
Yep. Exactly.
Like that. Yep. I don't know. That's where I struggle with it. And then it's just a matter of getting I create so much every day. Like I try to get our previous VAs, like I want you to like manage somebody that their only job is to take care of making these videos. Like that's the challenge.
So I mean, again, is it, so when you say record every day, I mean, like, do you do batch recording where you like sit down one day and you do a bunch of recordings, or you're literally recording every day?
Yesterday we're troubleshooting Christmas lights. So I'm going through basic process on how to do that. And then it was like, oh, well, this little adapter's busted or is not working. So, hey, let's go ahead and take the fuses out. All right, the fuses are popping. So hey, let's go ahead and take this thing. Let's unscrew it all. Let's take it apart. Oh, wait a second, the plastic won't come off. Let me smash this on the curb while we're creating a video because hey, let's figure out what's inside. It's already broken, so like we can't make it any worse. And like that's just one of the things yesterday. Yeah. You know, here's the training videos on guys when this is. I shouldn't have to tell you to put the lid back on the bleach tank because when you drove around just the 200 yards around our property, it sloshed 5 gallons of pure bleach all over your stuff. Oh, this isn't
good for killing the weeds in the gravel.
Yeah. It's great for that, and also rusting your trailer out. So it falls apart. I don't know. It's getting somebody to see that vision and getting somebody to stay on top of that, and then also conveying that vision that I have. And I'm already over here now.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm just thinking like, so with content, I mean, so with the way I did it in my last business, I hired a full-time videographer, but he was very entry level. I mean, this kid was straight out of high school, but he was very talented and he could record, not only shoot, he could also edit. So I was, again, with the delegation part, I didn't want to be the guy that had the camera, set the camera up, go do the editing, all that stuff. It was too much, you know what I mean? For me, like I was never going to be able to consistently do it. So I hired the kid. He was minimum wage at the time was about $15 an hour. And he did all that. He did the shooting, he did the editing, he did the posting. He basically managed the whole thing for me. And that was during 2020 when we went through COVID and things fizzled out. But that's how I made the content for that business. And that's why going forward, I'll do the same thing. I'll hire somebody full-time because I feel like if it depends on you as the owner, there's too many other things that you have to do. It's a lot. It's a full-time job. In my opinion, if you're going to do it consistently, if you're going to throw a couple videos up here and there, you could probably do it on your own. But if you're going to do it on any kind of consistent basis, I feel like it is a full-time position. And you think about it, like a lot of these small companies, they're spending $2,000 a month on SEO, and that's not getting them anywhere. I mean, Google business, page optimization is going to get you some leads. That's something you got to focus on. But that's not $2,000 a month. You could get someone for a couple $100 a month to do that. But companies I know right now that I consult with, I'm like, you're dropping $2,000, $2,500 on page SEO for your website. Like, stop paying that, take that money, put it into a videographer, and then start putting out content. And they do, and it makes a big difference. It does.
Gotcha.
And that's a good point. I'm curious, Teddy, before I hit you with my closing question, because you
I got to wrap it up. I know I'm getting texts from the wife. I got to wrap it up.
I bet you are.
I already got the angry look from the wife.
Tell her it's Dan's fault. Then
she knows. She could hear you. And also, Teddy, well, Dan, go ahead and give him the last question because Dan and I, if I'm on, it always goes to 2 hours.
We're pushing that right now. Yeah.
It might. Yep. So I'm just real quick. I'm curious on the SEO front. This is like an observation of mine, which is as local service ads, Google guaranteed stuff has gotten more popular, and Google's pushing more stuff to Google ads. Then you got the map pack.
Yep.
In most places, and this is probably more urban and less rural, I don't see organic listings hardly on the first page.
No. Yeah.
And it really makes me wonder if SEO is even valuable anymore on Google.
In my opinion, it's not the old school way of doing it. Now there's things that you got to do for this new AI search, to get recognized, but it's not the same. Like you have to put out a lot of content, FAQ content, a lot of just answers. That's when AI is searching, they're going to be scrolling your site for that stuff. But no, the old school way where you would go pay a guy to do this, they're putting blog posts out and all this stuff. In my opinion, it's dead. I don't plan on spending any money on that initially. Maybe down the road, if things change, we'll see. But I don't think it's going to go. I think it's going to completely go. It's going to go completely different. You're going to pay someone to do AI SEO essentially, right? That they're going to help you create content on different formats, different forums and platforms where you can put a ton of content out, and that's where the AI goes to search, and then that's how you're going to pop up on AI. But yeah, no, I think the most important thing you got to do as a small business is Google business page optimization. Number one, you have to be in the map pack. That is the most important. And that's not expensive. You can find a guy on Upwork and that only does that. He's not like an SEO guy. He's like a Google business page optimization expert, and he'll charge you a couple $100 a month, and you'll pop number one, and then you'll get a ton of calls from that for sure. And the LSA is easy. You could set it up on your own. I wouldn't even do pay-per-click. I mean, if I start my home service business, I wouldn't even do pay-per-click. It's so expensive right now with all this PE money. I'm going to avoid that like the plague for sure.
Yeah. SEO, just websites in general I mean, I think it's still good to have a website. There's a place that people want to go to convert, but that's not going to be the thing that brings them to you. They're going to be brought to your website from something else.
Yeah.
I'm very well aligned with that. Closing question. This is the all for all the marbles, Teddy.
Let's go.
Let's say I'm gonna like put boundaries around this based on our conversation that we've already had. Let's say you can't coach people. Let's say you can't even get back into home services. Anything that's home service related, off the table, because that'd be just too easy for you. You know too much. But you wake up tomorrow and those things are just gone. They don't exist, and you got to just go do something. And you got two objectives, which are you got to have some fun, and you got to pay some bills. What would you strike off and go after tomorrow to go have some fun and pay some bills if the world was like that?
So I would probably do some kind of online, marketing gig where, I could help, if I can't help home service companies, I mean, I would help attorneys or, local companies, like local businesses. I mean, I know I could generate a lot of leads for them, building out a small like consulting firm that does that. That's probably what I would do.
Hell yeah. Is it like just that you enjoy the sales side of it or the marketing side of it so much?
I like marketing. I'd like it. I get excited like when you get the phone to ring and you actually run a campaign that works. And I like that stuff. I mean, that stuff gets me excited.
Hell yeah, man. Rob, what's your answer?
I don't know. Thinking about that, I mean,
it's deep. It's a deep one.
It is. It's deep. I mean, the hard part is like, I genuinely do love helping people and like the business consultant side of it. But then again, you're back into the business side of it. I don't know. Dan, I'm going to go and call it for you that you just go to Cedros Island and become a new a boat captain and tour guide.
I don't know if I'll be on Cedros, but tomorrow I am taking a bunch of other business owners to Kentucky from different parts of the world to go bow hunting. And so I think if AI takes everything over and like all of a sudden we're like, we all just need to get our asses outside and get away from technology. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna be just like an outdoor guide. I don't know if it'll be hunting. I don't know. It might just be like we're all going on a damn hike.
Yeah.
I don't know what it'll be.
There you go.
I just like getting people outside and getting back to Mother Nature and the real world. That's what I like to do.
I always love the I would say party planner, but like, when do you want to have a party? Tonight? Okay, I'm your man. You want to have a party in 6 months? Call me in 5 months, 3 weeks, and 2 days, and I'll make it happen.
The last minute planner.
Like we're working on a wedding lighting gig right now, and I'm like, this is for May 7th. Can we talk like April 2nd? Is that okay? Like, y'all are freaking me out trying to figure this stuff out. And like, it's the whole, like when teachers would give you that assignment, they're like, write about whatever you want, Jimmy. Yeah. It's okay. Just write about something. And I'm like, but how will I write about the right thing? And I don't know. The other thing I would, back to the original thing, Dan, that we were talking about earlier, I would love to just help do business math and just show kids all the things that they just don't get it.
Yep.
Like, I went there to try and explain like business math. We do Christmas lights. It's profitable. I go through there and it was kind of fun because like I showed a mock-up of a house and the girl in the class was like, that's my house. Why do you have a picture of my house? And I was like, oh, you're so-and-so's daughter. Cool. What's up? Like they don't understand where like so much of that math, so much of the, not necessarily trig, but like geometry, algebra, rounding, approximating, estimating, all that stuff. And then to be able to know like quickly in your mind, like that number's not right.
Yeah, here's how the world actually works.
Yeah.
I have a client that's in the lighting space, and he's been an awful client to the point where I told our account manager, like, so I'll lay out. Let me give you guys some business math real quick before we sign out of here.
And also, Teddy, feel free at this point if you got to go.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to cut off, man. I think I'm gonna have to
it's
cut
okay, because Dan and I might talk till midnight. We'll see.
No, I got
midnight East Coast
coming up. I got a pee break coming up. Teddy,
I got to run, dude. I appreciate you guys, though. I appreciate Dan, and let's definitely stay connected. And let's talk about BizScore. And
hell yeah, man. Thanks for hanging
Rob,
out.
it was nice meeting you, man.
Yeah, man.
Well, let me give you the closeout, Teddy. We'll close it out. Rob and I'll do like a little extra
BS session instead of the
BS section. But business homies, business nerds, you guys know what to do. Work smarter and harder. Go earn some pride. Teddy, you the man. Thanks. I'll be in touch. We'll do some BizScore.
All right. Thanks, man.
Go take care of the fam.
All right. Take it easy, guys.
See you, bud.
See you, man.
So Rob, I had a client. This is my last story, and then I really got to go like to pee, and then I got to go like pack stuff for this hunting trip. I had a client that was just, and I'm getting better at this. Like, I just don't put up with shit anymore. I mean, I will. You know, like I will for too long.
You still put up with me, so it's okay.
No, like I'm talking like really putting up with people where you're just like how long can you go trying to help somebody that can't, like, that's just a piece of shit and won't look in the mirror, right? Like they won't take ownership over their own stuff. And so, and I don't, this guy doesn't know any better. Like, he's very early on in business ownership. He just doesn't know any better. And he was bitching about how much we were charging him for onboarding. We had to go back to the start of the year. We're 8 months into the year, and we had billed him $1,700 to get all the books caught up and reconciled and all the back and forth, right? There's a lot of back and forth to get everything dialed in. $1,700. We did 8 months worth of bookkeeping. His monthly price going forward, and he clearly didn't do this math because he doesn't understand how to run a business, which is the point I'm getting at here. I quoted him at the beginning. His monthly price was like $261 a month. So if we had billed him for each month as we went for 8 months, his price would have been a little over $2,000.
$2,000, yeah.
We saved him like $400.
$2,050.
Mathematically, we saved him like $400. He was so pissed about our billing. And these are all things I told him about why we did it the way we did it on my demo call, which he probably wasn't listening or paying attention. And we saved him because of the way we do it, and I like the way we do it because I think it's more efficient and it's more fair to bill people that way when we're doing cleanup stuff, especially and it's different if we're cleaning stuff up back to January versus just catching stuff up. If we're catching stuff up, we can do it cheaper than the $2,100 it would have cost him. If he had fucked it all up, it probably would have cost us more than the $2,100 we had billed him, like undo, redoing, whatever. And he was so like livid about it. And then I did his first P&L analysis. His COGS he doesn't have any employees. It's just him. His COGS were like 70%. He doesn't take a paycheck because he doesn't, like, either he buys the supplies and everything fails, right? Or he doesn't charge nearly enough, right? And it's just one of those situations where you're like, man, I don't know what to tell you besides you don't understand how business works, right? You think upcharging something by 30% makes you enough money to make money. Your supplies in this lighting space, you need to, like, you don't upcharge your stuff 30%, put a 0 on the end of that. You have to upcharge your materials 300%. This isn't about your money. This is about the business's money and what it takes to grow a business. This isn't your money. This is the business's money, and you're going to need to pay employees, and you're going to need to pay rent, and you're going to need to pay for marketing, and you're going to need to pay for all this infrastructure. And I did his P&L video because I always do the first one for, like, when we get somebody out of onboarding, I get to record the first video. And I didn't know at this point when I recorded the video, I didn't know he was all pissed about his billing. And so it's funny how it like reflects back now because I was so naive to it. But I was literally like, hey, here's where you're winning and here's where you're losing. Like clearly your COGS is way off. And if COGS is way off and you have no employees, it's a pricing issue. Like maybe you suck at installing, maybe you buy shitty stuff and it always breaks, but you probably have a pure business model issue that you're not good at sales.
And he pays retail.
Yeah, I said this way nicer on this video, but basically, like, you have a disconnect between how you price and how you buy. You're not charging nearly enough for the shit that you buy. If you're installing really high quality stuff and you're priding yourself in that and you're charging people really low prices, this is what your COGS looks like because you're not even paying labor in here. Add another 15% to that, and your gross margin is like 0. Your admin is totally fine, right? Your admin's the one thing that's green, which is the bucket we're in. Like that's where our cost goes, and you're at like next to nothing. But like all your other things are out of whack, and it's just so frustrating. I mean, it's the role I choose to play in a sense of like I want to help people figure that stuff out, but in helping people figure that stuff out, I'm also going to get the schmucks that don't understand it and don't know how to look in a mirror. And truthfully, I think he'll figure it out. I think he, and I'm an optimist, so I think he'll understand my coaching and be able to be like, yeah, you're right, and blah, blah, blah. Like, I hope everybody's like that. But I've had to fire a couple clients recently where it was like, oh, you don't get it. And so you're just going to keep being a pain in the ass and you're not going to look in the mirror. And if you're not willing to like own it and look in the mirror, we just gotta shut her down. In the past, I went to shut her down. In the past, I would have kept trying. And now I'm very much just like, I've like played this.
And I mean, like that. Those are those situations though where, hey, you can talk about me all you want. Like, dude, I'm a buddy. He went to somewhere else. Like he had that gut feeling that the numbers were wrong, and that's exactly why you guys went back through, I think, more than a year's worth of stuff to fix it. Because I'm finally looking at this stuff, and as business owners, we don't look at our P&L or our QuickBooks near enough.
Not enough.
And when we finally do look at it, and you're like looking at these numbers, I'm like, there's no way that we spent this amount. Not a chance. And like, dude, I just looked at our auto policy. It's $22,000 for like 10 vehicles. Like, this doesn't even make sense. Like, I need to sell stuff, and we need to triple the business so that every vehicle that we do have is producing a boatload of money.
Yep.
You know, all those things.
Sorry, I cut you off.
No, but just like for these guys, that if he's worried about how much money it costs to get caught up and get it cleaned up, it's also the same person who's like, here, man, here's CPA, here, bookkeeper, here's my size 13 shoebox full of all the receipts and bank statements for the year. That'll be the normal rate, right? You're like, no, that's not going to be the normal rate because now I have to fix this.
Yeah, I got to clean up your shit.
You know, if I could go back and we made this transition January 1st, yeah, it would have been $2,500, but it would have been easier for us. We would already know, and you would have gotten also along with that, you know, another 9 months worth of P&Ls.
Yeah, and like more value as you went. Like, we can't time travel back to February and tell you why you suck then. We can only tell you why you suck now.
What networking event did you meet Teddy at?
He hired a like a podcast company that goes and finds podcasts to jump on if you're a business owner. So he reached out to me and said, "Hey, you got an awesome podcast." And hey, I got
a podcast. I got a podcast.
Flip it around. He reached out to me and said, "Hey, I've got a pod." And I get these mixed up because I get both of them. He had reached out to me and said, "Hey," and his person reached out to me and said, "Hey, Teddy's got a podcast and you're a personality that has things going on. And so we'd love to have you on the podcast." So I jumped on his podcast first and then said, "Hey, you got cool." And like, as a podcast host, being a podcast host is trying to line up all your podcasts and having like interesting guests. There's a lot of smart people that are terrible podcast guests. And so you have to be really thoughtful about who you have on, right? Like not everybody can be on a podcast.
And sometimes you have to tell me not to jump on because I might make it worse with that person.
I've definitely messaged you and been like, Rob, don't bother on this one. There was a reason why tonight I was like, yeah, send Rob the link. Like Rob would enjoy this conversation.
Yeah.
Definitely been somewhere like once I got to, because I'll have people reach out to me and say like, hey, here's this guy, here's his credentials, and you should have him on your podcast. And I'm like, usually I'm like, yeah, I'm up for it. We'll have this convo. But I can kind of tell from that initial vibe of, is this going to be an interesting conversation, or is this going to be me coming up with question after question after question and trying to like figure out how to navigate this conversation? Like it's a hosting burden. And there's times where I'm just like, this is just not a good use of Rob's time. It's a judgment call I have to make. But I felt like tonight was a good use of your time. It's been a while.
Well, and Jai, you have full permission to make this a clip as well. Dan, if you ever need a wingman for those times where you need an extra, I don't like awkward. I can't handle awkward conversations. I can't handle awkward situations. I just start talking and filling those gaps. I'm your guy. There we go. There's a thumb.
And I like, I enjoy awkward just for the spectacle. Just for the spectacle.
Oh, yeah.
A spectator sport for me.
Especially when the burp queen of northern Minnesota shows up and you.
Oh, I'm all about that. That's some of the best content we've ever made. That might be the best content we've ever made.
Oh, man. Go in. Go pee. Have fun with your hunting trip.
I don't know if you saw this, Rob. Before we jump off, I got to show this to you because we started the show with it, and Teddy and I were talking about. I think this is the coolest damn thing. Maybe the coolest employee engagement thing I've ever seen. So I'm closing the show with it. This guy, Tony. This is Tony's High Five Ale. Tony's my brother-in-law. This is Marty's youngest brother. It's like 10 years younger than me. He works at a cannery, so they like make labels for beer cans. I think they will bottle or can the beers. Like they will get the beer and they put it in the can and label it. It was his 5th year anniversary, and Tony is one of the nicest guys, one of the most like optimistic dudes, just one of the best, just raw, like just a super good ass human. Super good guy. My only critique of him is that he doesn't come hunting and fishing with me enough. It's probably his wife's fault. I blame.
Yeah.
His wife. But Tony's the shit. So they made him this beer. Check this out. I'm gonna read this. This is how we're closing the show. I opened the show with this. I'm gonna close the show with this. I think this is the coolest employee engagement thing I've ever seen, and it damn near makes me tear up. Partially because I'm like, fuck yeah, Tony. And partially because I'm like, damn, I wish I thought of that.
And you're thirsty.
And I'm always thirsty. Ron Musgrave's in the house. What's up, Ron? Ron, this is gonna make you tear up, buddy. Get ready. Grab your box of Kleenexes. This is gonna be the coolest thing you've ever heard. This is my brother-in-law, Tony. We got Tony's High Five Ale, works at a cannery. Nutrition facts. Serving size, 1 legendary employee. Daily value, reliability, 100%. Respect for team, 100%. Logistics mastery, 100%. He like runs their operation in Minnesota. Willingness to go extra mile, 100%. Ego, 0%. Excuses, 0%. Percent daily values are based on a 5-year work anniversary. Your team's needs may vary. They made it. They're pretty clever. Then they had a little heartfelt note here. They said, Tony, your leadership has been integral to Lagersmith's culture, growth, and success. Thank you sincerely, Nate and Lucy. But they're not done yet because now they got the government warnings. So here's the because on a can of beer, you got to have your government warning. So they got a government warning. Number 1, Tony may show up unannounced to ensure this beer is shipped on time. Warning number 1. Number 2, always consume with gratitude for 5 years of rock solid reliability. Number 3, this is my favorite. Because actually, like Tony's come to the Boundary Waters with us before, and I always tell him like, Tony, like you are like, I try to get, this is another thing where it's like my only knock on him is that he doesn't come and do more hunting and fishing with me. when Tony comes to like a trip like that, he does 3 people's work. The dude just is like humble and he just kicks ass. And he doesn't ask for anything in return. He just wants to help. So I love number 3. If you experience exceptional teamwork after consumption, it may be the Joyer effect. Which is their last name.
That's awesome, man.
Marty's maiden name. And it's just like how fucking cool of an employee engagement thing. Like that's all on there.
So they did give him like 2 6-packs so he can drink a 6-pack and keep a 6-pack until it's skunked.
He gave me a 4-pack. He gave me a 4-pack. I don't know how many other packs he got. I drank in true, plot of fashion. I had 3 of them tonight. I drank the other one last night. Tony, this episode's for you. And he's well deserving of it. He's a good ass dude. So
to the world, we have 36, 35, 33. Just a few seconds left to make this 2 hours and keep my streak alive.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Ron did say so fucking cool with the double G. For the double G.
Man.
Need a bottle. Yeah. You can't get your hands on a bottle of this, Ron. You'll have to get a hold of Tony and Lagersmith.
You have to work there for 5 years.
You got to work for 5 years.
And be good.
Yeah, Ron, you got to be good for 5 years, man. No, I just like from an employee engagement standpoint, though, that one.
No, it's awesome.
Is a dude with a beer in my logo. And I'm sure like Skip is going to watch this later and some other account managers are going to watch this later and they're going to be like, oh, that's super cool. And I got these hats for my team. And I got, like I said earlier, I got the Yeti mugs. I got the Turbis mugs. I got to send them a koozie and a bottle opener. But I think my next thing is going to be, I got to send them some custom beers for each of them.
Yeah.
It'd be super cool. On brand too. They're going to know that I stole the idea, but I'm still going to do
it. You copied it.
Yeah. Copied it.
Copied.
Everything's already been thought of. Everything else.
It's all been thought of.
Yeah. I'm just borrowing the good stuff.
Yep. All right, man. Good luck on the hunt.
Thanks, bud. I got to pee so bad. I'm going to go do that. Home service homies, you guys already know what to do because I said it earlier, but I said it again. Work smarter and harder. Go earn yourself some pride. We'll see you next week from Kentucky, probably.
See you, man.